just be aware that, like, if you have to take action, look to be empathetic, especially if you know they're capable of being a really good employee, and find out something that can work. Even if they have to have an uncomfortable conversation, it's not going to be as uncomfortable as saying, we got to let you go.
What's up, guys? Welcome to ProfitDig Live. I'm Chris Work, here with my partner, Jeff Givens. Jeff, what is going on, my friend?
Living the good life. What about you?
Living the good life. Hey, I can't complain. I'm here with my ProfitDig brothers, so all is well in the world. Jeff, you were talking about something earlier, just some difficulty a colleague was having and sort of a unique approach to that. I mean, not that it's necessarily unique, but, I'll let you elaborate on that. I mean, we had someone who was going through some struggles here, and I think this will be helpful to our listeners and our users.
Yeah, I mean, every situation's different.
Sure.
But I know, everybody goes through challenges in their life, and not everyone deals with them the same way, and not all challenges are the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same challenge between two different people could be
different.
Two different levels of difficulty.
Absolutely.
So, a couple of years ago, I managed a team of engineers, and a couple of years ago, one of these engineers was going through a pretty tough time in their personal life, and I won't mention any names, but
the specifics.
I'm getting some of the specifics that are important, but not personal details. But this particular employee, great person, good worker, going through a tough time, started to have less than ideal performance.
Okay.
And, they were dealing, this person, a little older, in their, mid 40s or so, were taking care of their parents, and single, living with parents, taking care of them. Like that was his life. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
His father was struggling physically with his health, and they were older too, like they had him late in life. Gotcha. So they were getting pretty old.
Yeah.
And his mother was in the early stages of dementia.
Oh, yeah.
So one person physically can't take care of themselves. The other one mentally can't help take care of the other one.
Right.
So he's kind of having to take care of three people, and two of those people are not in ideal physical or mental condition.
Yeah.
So challenging situation, but he was managing it but struggling, and it was impacting his capability to produce effectively at work. And you could kind of see it too, like when you're talking to him, like there's something in the eyes, or something in the tone of voice that I laugh. It's not funny, but like those things stand out to you when something's a little off and it's different than it should be. But this persisted for a little while, and then his father passed away.
Oh, okay.
And so, and they were close. Yeah. And obviously, he was physically taking care of him. I mean, and he was at the stage, literally feeding and, changing diapers, cleaning, that stage. Stage. Very intimate care, plus, 40 plus years of relationship. So huge impact and challenge for this employee to deal with.
Wow. Yeah.
And that did not help his mother's mental health either.
Yeah.
Right. So that situation worsened. And if you've ever dealt with anybody with dementia, that
I've seen it firsthand. Yeah.
Things that you wouldn't expect, like locking a door, that person might just wander out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to put,
if you've never dealt with it,
out of sight,
it's almost like toddler proofing a house for a grown person.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And they can make comments that are hurtful.
Yes.
It's tough.
Right. Yeah. Or not recognize you. So dementia takes on a lot of different forms, and it's mentally and emotionally taxing for anyone who's dealing with someone that has dementia.
Yeah.
So that coupled with his father's death. I mean, this guy's performance was really taking a hit.
So
to the point that I was very sympathetic and empathetic to his situation. And
this is a person you'd worked with for quite some time.
there was 7 years of close work experience with this person, maybe even more.
So there's
than
a friendship there as well.
There's a friendship. Plus, I was his manager.
Got it.
So there's a bond there, and just on an individual level, forget the work relationship. Like there's personally, like I had real concerns for this person.
Yeah.
And would try to do things here and there without intruding or crossing any sort of boundaries.
Sure.
But month after month, quarter after quarter, deadlines were being missed, expectations were not being met. And there is a point where something has to change because you can't necessarily justify the loss from a financial impact forever, especially if it's not even stable, if it's continuously declining.
Yes.
So I had a meeting with him, and I let him know, like, hey, this is going to be uncomfortable. I was like, but I think we need to talk about this. Like, and in this meeting, we talked about what he's been going through. And to that point, it was known what he was going through. Yeah. But, I would try to ask questions about, I've tried to offer solutions that I thought would help. They haven't worked. What can I do to help meet these expectations, whether it's deadlines or productivity? And I told him, I said, look, I know you're going through a lot, but you have got to get your life in order. I said, you really need to take some time off from work.
Yeah.
Get things in order in your life, because until you do that, I don't think you're going to be able, and the consequences will be you're going to lose your job.
You're going to lose your job. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't want that. His capabilities and past performance.
Exactly. Right. It's not a conversation I wanted to have. I said, look, we're getting close here where I can't justify what's going on to my management anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So he heard what I had to say, and I gave him some suggestions, take a month off. And we talked about all the major hurdles he's dealing with on a personal level. And he, to his credit, he didn't have to open up to me about any of those things, but we had built a trusting relationship over time. So he opened up to me about all these things, and I'm not a counselor, but I also know that he probably had an idea already of how to fix some of these things, but never really had the opportunity to get a chance to put them into action. Right. So
provided the avenue for him to. Yeah.
I told him, I said, look, take a month off. It's like, it's all paid. Like, take a month off, get your life in order. And if you need to do anything in that month with work, don't. I said, we will take care of it. Like, we have a team here. And if the team can't do it, I'll do it. Okay. It's like, I don't mind shouldering extra responsibility for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, but we need you back in action more than anything.
Absolutely.
And so he took a month, and he took the suggestions that I had and made them work for him. Right. So he didn't use all my suggestions. He had some of his own that he came up with, but I said, look, if you don't need anything from me, I'll hear from you in 1 month.
In 1 month?
And I gave him the date I expected him to be back at work. I think I talked to him one time in the process, and he said things were going a little better. And it wasn't even a face-to-face communication at that point. It was just through Teams chat.
Okay.
But he said things were going well, and so I was looking forward to getting him back.
Yeah.
So he comes back to work. We have another meeting. And I said, hey, what were you able to accomplish in this month off? And he explained, all the different challenges, and I had made notes of them so that we could address each one. And each topic, he's an engineer, right? It's very process oriented. So, you know, he was able to address each of those points in that month off, and at least from what he expected were things that would allow him to be able, while he's during work hours, to focus on work, and not during work hours, alleviate some of the stress that he was and anxiety that he was dealing with.
Great.
And within, you know, almost immediately after taking that month off, numbers were back up, performance, he was meeting deadlines, he was meeting my expectations. Now that's not going to work every time, but but that was a personal situation I dealt with.
Right, and it was someone worth investing in. I mean, this person,
100%.
This person had been there all along until they, you know, found themselves in this rough situation personally.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a good story. I like that, Jeff.
Yeah, well, I guess the moral of that is, you know, when we were talking off the air about it, was you're like, man, a month's a long time.
Yeah.
And I was,
But
in my mind, like, yeah, a month is a long time, but the process to find a qualified candidate to hire, the pain of dealing with firing your friend, you know, and not just the process of, you know, laying someone off or getting rid of somebody,
right.
But you got someone there that's in their mid 40s that's been in that field for 30 years. Like, there's knowledge that goes with that too. So
Absolutely.
To be able to replace someone like that is already financially,
tall order, yeah, and
you know. So for me, a month was enough time for someone to gather themselves. Doesn't mean that like he was okay. Like, I'm sure he's going to struggle with this situation for a long time, but at least he was able to get back up to a working state.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic, Jeff. I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. And that's, you know, I mean, I think our users and contractors out there can adopt a, you know, similar methodology when you have an employee who provides that type of value for you and your company.
Yeah, I would say look for that, right? Like, obviously, you know what your teams are capable of.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're leadership at a company, or even if it's far removed from you, encourage the people that work for you to have open and transparent communication. And there is some grace to, you know, when someone's going through something really challenging, give them some space.
Sure.
But when that whatever that time of reference is, right? And I can't give you a time.
There's no exact number. Yeah.
Each situation is different. So,
sure.
But there is a point where you can't.
Battery's dying.
Okay, there is a point. All right, battery's dying. Just be aware that, like, if you have to take action, look to be empathetic, especially if you know they're capable of being a really good employee, and find out something that can work. Even if they have to have an uncomfortable conversation, it's not going to be as uncomfortable as saying, we got to let you go.
Absolutely. Well, phew. Guys, I hope you found this as moving as I did. And while you're here, I'm going to ask, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're looking for the most cost-effective construction bidding and costing solution on the planet, you can see it at ProfitDig.com. See you soon.